Hey, this is a channeled, timeless collective reading for you when you see it. I've got channel messages that came through ahead of time, and of course, my spirit guides, the angels, and source will bring through any additional information that's for your highest good as we go through these. The first thing showing up before I even get into what came through ahead of time, they're showing me a bear. It's about divine protection. I'm just hearing you don't need to worry potentially about what's going on in your life regarding anything you're like excessively worried about. They're even showing me the stock market, like even about the stock market, potentially something I'm getting. This isn't financial advice, legal disclaimer, but for whatever reason, if you're like excessively worried, like don't worry is what I'm hearing. Interestingly enough, like whatever you're worried about, there's divine protection regarding it for your highest good. So you don't need to worry about that. Next thing, they showed me a shell. They're showing me a shell again as well. Not necessarily the oil company, but like just a shell, but they did show me that logo as well for whatever reason. We'll see if there's anything about that. But the first message that came through ahead of time was about you busting out of your shell, and moving forward. Realizing all you need to in order to move forward was something that came through as well. And this is a big month of realization for you. Whenever you're finding this, even like the next couple of months is something like you'll be getting a lot of realizations to help you bust a move is what they're showing me, but in a way where like you're moving forward and doing well with that, which is good. Or at least not being held back as much is something they're showing me as well. Is regarding like shell as far as like the oil and the logo, whatever that is about here. I'm hearing something interesting about like setting your sights towards the future and not towards the past. So, you know, in the past, like oil was really big, like that was the way. That's what allowed certain countries to succeed and be rich, even as far back as not to talk about this, but the, world wars and things like that. But the world is moving on is something I'm getting, and I'm hearing you should too. And it's not just a prediction about oil necessarily. It's more about where you're headed. And sometimes we have things from our past that we think we need to keep around, or opportunities we think we need to cling to no matter what, even if it's from like 10 years ago, 5 years ago, or something like that. I'm just hearing it's time to move. I might need to sit with this and get more clarification, on what they mean, but it's like time to move forward or look forward, and trust that new opportunities will come in if you have to let go of one is something I'm hearing, which is a very strange message, but hopefully that's making sense for you right now. It's like really not a good time to cling to old ways of doing things. It's time to step forward into the future for you, whatever that means to you. Hopefully that all tracks and makes sense in your world, or will soon after this reading if it doesn't make sense now. Next message, they showed a bull, like the animal, like pulling a sled, and it had like all these like ropes attached to it. It was pulling these things behind it, and just a lot of the things that have been weighing you back are leaving, as in like you're cutting cords that are keeping you from moving forward. You're dropping the weight. You're realizing what's holding you back so you can cut those cords and move forward, essentially. If you feel like you've been trying to move forward but you keep slipping backwards, or something always seems to be pulling you back, it's time to cut that cord is what I'm getting, or it will be cut, and you'll be realizing what to do about that is something I'm hearing. It really is a time for forward movement. I wouldn't be holding yourself back excessively is something I'm hearing as well. Like I'd be doing everything you can within reason to move forward for the highest good. And that's going to be a key for this time, is just putting one step in front of the other, moving forward, not holding yourself back, not putting yourself into delays you don't need to. And this would be something that's like self-imposed, by the way, regarding this advice. Like, sometimes we start to work on something, we're like, I don't know. We kind of just like sit there and like freeze up. It's not a time for that is what I'm hearing for you. Unless you like really, 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 really need to, and you'll know the difference between like that and like hesitating a little bit, if that makes sense. Like I would just be doing everything you can to move forward, unless like universe has really putting the clamps on, which not going to be happening for most of you is what I'm getting. Next message, they showed me the word peace. They said, and they gave me this message of like doing extra things for your peace is going to help you a lot. So take extra time for yourself, go for walks, meditate, turn off the news, etc. Just do what you do for peace. Focus on hobbies that are fun and enjoyable. Get your mind off of problems, etc. Like give yourself space. That's going to be key as well, is something I'm getting. If you're focusing on peace and cultivating that, you're going to be winning, or you're just going to be feeling better. And that's a win in and of itself is something I'm hearing too. So whatever practices you have for peace, whatever brings you peace, try to double down on that. Like this week is what I'm hearing, but maybe just in general around this time period. And I feel like you'll actually be seeing success because of it, or maybe it'll give you the space for the realizations you need to help you move forward, like we've been talking about. But peace is going to be key just for, of course, your peace of mind, but I feel like just how you're doing right now too, or it could be really helpful for that, at least if you don't feel like it's a key for it. So, and again, peace is something that can be cultivated. You don't have to wait around for it. You can you can schedule the time and the practices and things that cultivate it within you and bring it into your world. And the more I'm hearing like stewing in that and like the high frequencies, like peace, the more you're going to be creating more peace and bringing that into everything you're doing as well. So that's another thing I'm hearing. Next, this is a really interesting message. They show me white milk. And the message is the universe is milking you. And this is for the highest good, by the way, for all you are worth in a grand way. Again, for the highest good. You have a lot of value to bring, and the universe is going to start milking that. This is actually going to lead to really good things for you, and you're going to be excited. This isn't like you're being drained, but rather put in the spotlight where people can see you and gain from what you offer, putting you in front of the right people, etc. Spirit is making use of your presence on earth for the highest good, and it's what you desire as well, is something I'm getting. So it's like a win-win with spirit. Sometimes we have like all this potential and it's not being used, and maybe it's not time. People aren't ready for it. The universe is waiting for the opportune time to bust that out and show people, what you're made of or whatever. But I'm hearing this very interesting message, like Spirit's going to start milking you for all you're worth. So one, I feel like you're going to love it because it's like your potential. It's potentially you standing out. It's you doing what you're meant to do potentially as well. And I just feel like you have a lot to give. So again, this isn't going to be like draining you or anything negative like that. It's Spirit putting you in the right places, in front of the right people to do the best work you can do. Things kind of like that. Maybe that last part wasn't the exact perfect way to explain it, but if you would like the universe to use you for the highest good, this is for the highest good is key. This is a good message. Next, they showed me a cow. This is another interesting message. They gave me the phrase out to pasture. They said, you are not like most people. If you were put out to pasture with a bunch of cows, you'd be like, I am a human, not a cow. What am I doing here? That's kind of how you are with most people too, or could be. This is a good thing. It's time to own that difference and realize you are not like most people, but use that to your advantage and stop pretending you are the same as everyone else. Because I feel like that is something that's holding you back if you are doing that. You owning who you are allows you to shine. It also opens the floodgates for other people to own who they are, and it starts to change the world. So try not to be like others, but instead to own your unique value and allow that to shine into the world. Many of you are meant for bigger things than you realize. I like how I snuck that one in at the last second for that message. So there's this whole thing they'd like me to tell you about, and I got it from a book called Being You Changing the World by Dr. Dane here. And he has this one passage in the book where he has this thing where there's like cow people and there are horse people. This is his approximation of it, or how he would explain it. And with the cow people, it's people who are just like stuck in judgment. They don't want things to change. They, really stuck in their ways. They're probably people you might equate to as like old curmudgeonly people who get mad when anything's different, or people who are staunchly in their judgments. I hesitate to use this analogy, but such as in like a religion where they judge everyone else and like, this is wrong, this is wrong, this is wrong. But it's like not actually wrong. It's just what they were taught, which isn't actually true, if that makes sense. And then there's horse people, which are people who like to run and play and do 18 plus stuff and run and play and do 18 plus stuff and run and play and enjoy their lives. And by 18 plus, I mean like, after hours things, of course, which I don't think I can use certain words on YouTube. But all this to say is like, would you rather be like a horse person or a cow person? And you'd probably would like to be the horse person who desires positive change in the world, desires things to get better for everybody, has fun, does their thing. They're not stuck in the judgments and the restrictions and the things that certain people are societally pressured into or feel that pressure from. So you being the horse person that you are, or who you're meant to be, who you truly are called to be, even if you're more unique than that or more different than that, really going to set a positive example for people, potentially help to change the world for the highest good. It helps you to own your unique frequency. And as the less you bog that down, I would say the more you're attracting what's for you, the more you're stepping into the role you're meant to be stepped into. I just feel like it's a really positive thing for the highest good, for you to own who you are, own your unique frequency, and be that, instead of trying to dim yourself down to be like other people, trying to dumb yourself down to be like other people, trying to make yourself like others to fit in, or all those things. I feel like the world needs more. I feel like I heard this from someone else, but I'm also getting to say it right now. Like, the world needs more leaders, people who are horse people, I suppose you could say, people who are the people they're meant to be and stepping into that light, instead of people who are dimming themselves down for others. So you're going to make a difference if you're being yourself. All that to say, I'm not sure if I brought all that through in the perfect ways, but you get the essence of what I'm saying, hopefully. And hopefully that is a helpful message for you at this time. The next message, they showed me a balloon and they gave me the word party, and it was like a party in your favor. So if you keep working on yourself and what you're doing in the world, you're going to be celebrated for who you are and what you're accomplishing. I feel like this is especially strong for those of you who have a business, but any of those who are just doing what you feel called to do, that's fine as well. It doesn't have to be a business. So you are of value in this world. Spirit is trying to celebrate you. And if you keep working on yourself and towards your targets and dreams, Spirit will be celebrating you. And, there's a little bit of something we have to explain here, because Spirit is already celebrating you, of course, in certain ways, but this is also really encouraging you forward and to help you realize you are worthy. So Spirit might be showing you signs of this, like especially if you are working on bettering yourself in your path. So you might have, I don't know, there might be the phrase like celebrate you, like you start working, keep working on yourself or keep working towards things, and like people like hand you a balloon on the street and like celebrate yourself. I don't know. That might not literally happen to all of you, but those could be like certain signs or things like that. Like they keep showing me balloons and things like that. So I feel like Spirit is trying to celebrate you, and like the more you keep working on yourself, working on your targets, Spirit's gonna be celebrating you more and more and more, and hyping you up more and more and more, getting you in front of the right people. So not a time to give up is what I'd say. This is really a good time to work on yourself and your dreams, of course. It's a great time for forward movement as well, but I think we already talked about that. Next, they showed me streamers on the same kind of party theme. And again, just to clarify, I suppose, Spirit will be celebrating you big time. Don't delay your success. Keep moving forward. So what they mean by that, I think I already covered this for this reading as well, didn't I? I already said this. Like you don't necessarily want to hinder your success by like pausing unnecessarily right now. Like now's a good time to keep putting the effort in. Next, they showed me a pickup truck, and this is kind of still along the same vein. It was like a white Chevy, if that matters, is what it looked like in my intuitive visuals. They said, like a newer one. They said, Spirit has a truck full or more of rewards coming if you keep moving forward. Trust. So a lot of encouragement, of course, to keep moving forward. So the next message was slightly different, but kind of still along the same vein. It was a reminder not to reinvent the wheel. You have new information coming that will help you succeed. Trust that Spirit has your back for the highest good and will get you the information you need to succeed. Big time. So don't poo-poo new information, try to learn. So maybe you have like a new creator on your content feed show up that you've never seen before, and it's talking about something related to your business or related to something you'd like to do, and you click on it, or maybe you accidentally stumble upon it and Spirit accidentally has you click on it, or it just pops up somehow and you're not sure how. And it's talking about something very relevant to you that's helpful. Don't poo-poo that information or be like, oh, this isn't my usual guy. Nah, or things like that. Like try it out, see if it's helpful and pertinent and resonates and does what's for your highest good regarding whatever you're working on, is what I'd say. And I've heard this from another person, but I feel called to reiterate it for you guys here. Is like, now is a good time to potentially seek out more information regarding things you're doing, or now might not be a good time to think like everything and like shut out new information, if that makes sense as well, from other people. Like I'd be learning and growing and succeeding and doing your best not to stagnate, potentially even through learning new information, if that makes any sense at all. But they're saying you get it, so I'm going to move on to the next point before I just keep talking on it. The next message they said here is, they showed me a construction vehicle. They said Spirit is creating a new foundation in your life to help you build and succeed. So if you get any new ideas, write them down. Spirit is trying to help you succeed. So all these messages about Spirit, kind of cheering you on, helping you succeed, all this stuff. I feel like if you have a new idea come in, it could be very big, like especially if it's business, if it's something else completely, if it's like a self-help idea, whatever it is, and try it out is what I'd say if it feels right and lights you. And I'm always a fan of just encouraging you to follow your divine guidance and your intuition, because you might have a great idea and then you hear from your spirit guides or from angels or from source or spirit, however you operate, like, nope, wait a month. You're like, oh, but it's such a great idea. Like, nope, wait a month. I'm like, okay, so you wait a month. So trust your own intuition as well. Always going to encourage you to do that. But if you have new ideas, that could be really important as well. Next, they showed me an airplane and they just said you are hitting a new level soon. Congrats, you have upgraded. So many of you have upgraded or are just about to hit this new level in life. And it could be external, like you get a promotion. It could be internal, like you've upgraded and like your intuition skyrockets or something like that. So it could happen on a number of different levels or all the levels, but I feel like you guys are hitting new levels soon, which is fantastic. That's a lot of what I had for you ahead of time. And I know maybe it seemed like I flew through a lot of that, but I'm gonna see if there are any just last second messages before we close this out. They're showing me a cricket, like the bug. Usually crickets show up when it means good luck, but they can also symbolize music as well. Usually for these readings, when they show up for me and I'm doing a reading, I feel like you have new good luck coming, or maybe you have like a person that shows up in your life and they're like good luck for you and like good things always happen when they're around. And so I would keep that person around as a sign is what I'd say. First and foremost is what I'm getting. Beyond that here, I feel like you're in a time or coming into a time of new luck where things are just a bit smoother. Things are working out for you a bit better. Things are clicking. And especially if you've had like a long time of like difficulty or like one thing after another, or just like they're showing someone like trudging through the snow who's like homeless. So hopefully you've never been hopeless, and hopefully you never will be homeless either. But they're just kind of saying, well, let me see what the message is with this. It's like someone who's been through great difficulty, but now it's time for rewards. So, and again, there was that message for like the truck of rewards coming in if you keep moving forward. So I feel like now is the time of rewards. If you stuck around for this reading, you're at the end. The messages are for you when you see them. So I'd say that's for you whenever you did that. And that's it. Know that things are moving in the right direction. Know you're on the right track. I feel like Spirit has big things in store for you. They're saying, no, that's Spirit has big things in store for you. And I will leave you there. If you liked this reading, resonated with it, and you'd like to stay in touch, you can sign up for my free newsletter through my website. And it's just, you get channel messages on the month ahead towards the beginning of each month, usually on the first of each month. And if you are interested in what came through this month, there is also a link you get that leads you to this month's channel messages as well, if it's already past the first. And beyond that, you can follow me on Instagram or other platforms. And I'm wishing you well, and I will see you on another post. Hope that helped.